All right, U.S. history. We are getting into something that all of you guys have a little knowledge of today, and that is the end of the John F. Kennedy presidency, which most of you know ends with the assassination of JFK. So we're going to go over, a couple of the conspiracy theories. Everybody always likes to talk about those, but for the most part, just going to talk about how the assassination went down. So it was in Dallas, Texas, and this was in November of 1963. And there were a lot of things going on at the time, with the Kennedy presidency. He was not well loved by everybody, right? He was controversial, just like any president is while they are serving in office, right? John F. Kennedy was specifically not liked by some people because of his civil rights stances. There were a lot of people that did not agree with his stance on civil rights. He was very proactive in civil rights, trying to get things changed for equality of all races, especially the African American community. And a lot of people did not like that. A lot of people especially did not like that in the South, and Dallas, Texas, obviously being in the South. To put it further into view, Adlai Stevenson, which is part of the Kennedy administration, played a huge role in that Cuban Missile Crisis. If you remember us talking about that last time, he was attacked just a few weeks earlier in Dallas. JFK did have some people in his ear telling him, "Do not go to Dallas. There's a lot of turmoil down there. It's probably not good for you to be in that area." But JFK, kind of the consummate people's president, he went against those people who advised him to stay back and went forward with his trip in Dallas. And obviously, all of us know how that turned out now. So huge crowds. I mean, right? I mean, an active president coming to Dallas, which was a big city. A lot of people came out to see him. A lot of people that loved him. Some people to protest. Right? You have all kinds of different people who come out to see the president for different reasons. And in front of him was Governor Connolly of Texas. So this was a big thing. And they went, almost on a parade route with this motorcade. And I agree, you would never see this today, right? In 1963, JFK, the active president, just rolling around in the top down, in this open air limousine. Like, this would never happen today, right? And a lot of reasons it wouldn't happen, dating back to what happened in 1963. So, in front of them, Governor Conley, who's also going to, get hit by a bullet in this assassination. They're sitting together, and as they go past this book depository, and most of you guys have probably heard this story before, as they go past the book depository, they hear shots ring out, 3 shots particularly. And Governor Conley is hit by a bullet. JFK is hit by 2 bullets, and one of them does turn out to be a fatal blow to his head. So I know a lot of you guys have seen this before, but I am going to show you the Zapruder film, which is probably the most well-known, most famous, best video that we have of this Kennedy assassination. This is a still shot from that video. 3 shots were fired. The fatal shot hit President Kennedy in the head. He was rushed to Parkland Medical Hospital, but was pronounced dead very quickly after that. So, we had never seen anything like that. A president had not been assassinated since 1901. And in 1963, which is the last time a president was assassinated, JFK gets taken down right in the middle of Dallas, Texas. And the whole world, is able to see the video. And it was just shocking to our nation. And I would argue, like, this sets off a huge chain of events that takes us into one of the most turbulent times in the United States. You put the Kennedy assassination on top of the Civil Rights Act that's going to come into play. Martin Luther King Jr. being assassinated. Vietnam really cranking up. I mean, this becomes kind of one of the most turbulent times in the United States history. And I think it kind of all starts with with the Kennedy assassination in 1963. So, who committed the assassination? Lee Harvey Oswald is the one that is arrested just a few blocks away in a movie theater. And, he was the one that, they say was in the book depository on the 5th floor, I believe, and shot those 3 shots, from a rifle, and, hit the president twice, one being a fatal shot to his head. So, he is brought to jail, and he's going to stand trial for these charges of the assassination of the President of the United States. But before that can happen, as he is being transported, they are taking him out in handcuffs, and this once again is on video. People have video of this as well. Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, breaks through the crowd, had a gun. I mean, this is so hard to explain nowadays because this would never happen today, right? But takes a gun out, shoots Lee Harvey Oswald while he's, in the means of being transported to the jail, and he dies. And Jack Ruby is going to go on to be convicted of his killing. So it just becomes a complete circus. I mean, this Kennedy assassination. We don't have Lee Harvey Oswald anymore. He never went through a trial. We can't ask him questions. So it gave way to a ton of conspiracy theories, and you guys have probably heard a lot of them. There's the grassy knoll conspiracy theory. There's the theory that KGB, which is basically the Russian CIA, is the one that assassinated President Kennedy and not Lee Harvey Oswald. The mafia. There's just tons. There's tons of conspiracy theories out there about how President Kennedy was killed. But Lee Harvey Oswald, even after a big study is done on the assassination, still comes out as the lone gunman. But one thing that was very real was what America went through after this, with President Kennedy being laid to rest in a very public manner, his young family, being right out there in the public eye as it was taking place. Jackie Onassis Kennedy, his wife, widow, dressed in all black, with their two small children in her hands. Robert F. Kennedy, which was his brother, and he will go on to run for president as well and be assassinated, which is it's crazy. Like I said, just sets off one of the most turbulent times in the United States. So we're actually going to get into the chain of events that this sets off next time. We're going to go through some civil rights. Martin Luther King Jr., Robert F. Kennedy is somebody I'm going to talk about because he has a strong Indiana connection with the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. This is the eternal flame that is, JFK's eternal flame in Arlington National Cemetery. You could still go there and see it today if you guys are in the Washington, D.C. area. It's a very big tourist attraction. We'll talk about civil rights next time. We'll start getting into the late 60s and early 70s, Vietnam, all that good stuff. So until then.